do do do.
Do 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 do.
Hi guys, we're back.
We're back.
Hey, so this is Shen.
And Lay.
I have to get used to saying Shen.
Shen.
I never say that to myself.
Oh.
That's like the nickname my parents gave me.
Oh, yeah? Speaking in third person is weird. I don't even know who started calling me Lay. Growing up in high school, elementary, taking it even further back, people used to call me Lays, like Lay's chips. And, like, to be honest with you, like, I didn't mind it then. But the other day, one of my girlfriends called me that, and I was like, what? No, we retired that. Once I graduated, I threw that hat in the air. I threw that nickname along with it. So, like, no more. Lay is fine, but Lays is totally out.
Oh.
It's a firm no.
Because it's funny.
It is. It's funny. And it's so funny because, like, there's people that I haven't, like, really, engaged with since high school. And if we could end up conversing on whatever social media platform, sometimes they reference me as Lays. And I'm like, you can tell that we're, like, not super duper. I know. What's with that? Cut it out.
Welcome back to the While They Nap podcast.
While They Nap. Last episode, we forgot to tell you about where the name came from. And the name it's clever. It's cute. Tell them, Shen.
Oh, me? Okay, fine. Fine. While They Nap is basically has to do with the fact that we have children.
Hello. Young babies.
Babies, actually.
Babies.
And we barely have time for ourselves. So we have to do everything while they nap.
Everything.
Brush my teeth, take a shower for 2 minutes.
Listen.
And yes, I wash my legs.
That's it. I can't even. Don't even take me there again. Do not even take me there.
How about I was floored when I saw that on Instagram.
I don't understand it. Like, I mean, I felt like that was what I felt the same way that I felt when I discovered that there are people that use like either a bath sponge, that only use a bath sponge. I'm like, no, you need a bath sponge and a wash rag.
Yes.
A wash rag is a non-negotiable. In fact, the bath sponge, fine. Maybe if you're not a bath sponge person, you're just not a bath sponge person. Mm-hmm. But there is no way you're just bathing with what? A soap bar? Like,
and your hand?
Like, cut it out. Cut it all the way out. You're not having a proper, like, that's not a proper clean. Like, no.
It's not. Like, jaw dropped when I saw that.
It's disgusting.
How do you clean your particulars?
That's disgusting. You're not. That's the thing. You're not cleaning them, and you're okay with that. So,
Ew.
yeah. Anyways, while they nap, we do it all while they nap.
Yeah.
Including this podcast.
So we only got a few minutes.
That's it.
So today's episode, we are talking about preparing family planning.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, we're talking about family planning, our pregnancies.
Oh.
And maybe we'll kind of get into our birth stories. It's pretty
triggered.
Mine was dramatic. Okay?
Oh, gosh.
At that moment, I realized I was a dramatic ass person.
Okay, well, I feel like to be honest with you, my mom says it all the time, and I'm naturally dramatic. And to date, she's still like, you were amazing. Yeah. She's like, because my mom's labors were a breeze.
Yeah.
And she's like, I would not have survived what you went through. So I'm like, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was rough.
My labor was pretty easy. That's why I think I'm dramatic.
Maybe.
I was just like, honestly, I almost gave up the ghost, okay? John was like, he was impressed. He was like, it's pretty chill because you were just not saying a word, but like more of my dramatics was in the beginning because I was not expecting the pain I felt.
Oh, yeah.
That I was on the floor flailing.
I'm so dead.
Screaming down the hospital like, somebody help me. I had no shame. Poor John's just wheeling me in the wheelchair.
What wheelchair? I wasn't even in a wheelchair. Girl, stop this.
I went to the hospital maybe 3 times within that maybe 12 hours before I had the baby because they told me there's no way you're having a baby in the next week or 2.
Oh.
And I'm like, listen to me. I'm at me and my body are one.
Oh.
So when it tells me something, I'll bet you $1 million that it's true.
Oh, my gosh.
I had that baby 12 hours later.
Okay, so tell us. Just get into it. We already dabbled. Let's just dive head first into the birth story.
So I am about 2 days past my due date, and I lost my mucus plug. Okay, this is gonna get this is TMI.
TMI, okay? But I mean, I feel like you know what? Like our primary listeners are probably moms who have been through this. So come on, girl.
You'll know.
Y'all know that mucus plug. That
and
thing
you
be dropping.
know how you are when you're in that last trimester and you've hit your due date.
Oh,
you're hot. You're sweating.
Oh my gosh.
You're tired. You're hungry.
All the above.
Even
before the due date.
Honestly, like I was over it like 14 weeks in.
Oh,
I was like, jeez. I can't bend down.
Right?
I was so big for some reason. Everyone's like, "Are you sure you haven't had a baby before?"
I was bloated. I was really, really bloated.
I was so annoying, and I didn't even eat food because I was sick for 2 trimesters.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's rough.
I was so annoyed. But anyways, I lost my mucus plug. And then obviously every 5 minutes I go to the bathroom. I'm checking. I'm like, okay, Joe, this is it. This is it. I'm gonna have this baby. I'm having that raspberry tea.
Oh yeah.
I'm doing like I've googled
pineapples
everything. Pineapple juice. I'm having sex every 5 minutes. I was like, come on, let's get this out.
You were better than me, girl. I was like, don't touch me. I'm afraid. I am afraid.
I was over it. I was so over it. And then there was one night. I thought I had Braxton Hicks, but then it was hot. I was like, these are not.
Yeah,
these aren't normal.
It's true that when people say like
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Joel was like, okay, but I'm like, this is weird though because it's the time. It's like every 20 minutes. That's too far apart.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know. Like I lost my mucus plug though.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's something. So Joel's like, I don't know. What does your Google say?
Yeah, that's it. Always.
So I'm like,
Madam
whatever.
Google.
Like, just pack the car.
Yeah.
And it started getting more and more intense. So I was like, you know what? He's like, if you want to go to the hospital, go to the hospital. Because he was just sick and tired of me.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, fine. So we pack up the car. And now my I guess I would call them contractions because I couldn't move. They were very painful. And I was like, okay, they're now 15 minutes apart. Let's go to Island Mix. So Island Mix is a Caribbean restaurant. First of all,
I thought she was going to say, y'all, 15 minutes apart, let's go to the hospital. Margot said, let's go get some spicy shrimp.
How'd you know? How did you know? I was like, listen, if I have this baby today, I'm going to be hungry.
I'm finished.
I'm
done,
in
y'all.
the restaurant. I'm ordering. I'm like, I want this rice. I want this chicken with a side of spicy shrimp.
This is too much.
And I want this mango salad. And I'm eating. And I'm getting contractions every 15 minutes still.
Oh, gosh.
And the guy's trying to ask me questions. I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
He's like, you all right? I'm like, oh, it started getting hot now.
Oof.
So I'm like, just pack everything to go.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm like, okay. So we're driving back to the house. And he's like, are you sure you don't want to go to the hospital? And I'm like, okay, fine. Let's just go to the hospital. But I knew they were going to tell me to
for sure.
send my ass home. So we go to the hospital. And obviously we wait. They check me and they're like, ma'am, your cervix is closed. Okay?
Wow.
You're not having no baby anytime soon. And don't come back here until your contractions are 2 minutes apart.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, I knew this. But, I was like, whatever. It was for my peace of mind. So I did it and I went home. And honestly, we got home maybe like almost midnight. By 2 a.m., my contractions were 2 minutes apart.
Wow.
2.5 minutes apart. And I was like, jeez. So I waited it out for a long time because I thought maybe it's because I had the spicy shrimp.
Yeah.
And then I went to the bathroom and I'm like, I saw more and more of the mucus coming out. So I was like, okay. So I woke up Joe and I'm like, I think this is it. So he packs me up. We go back to the hospital. I'm like, hey, guys, remember me? I was here a couple hours ago, but guess what? My contractions are 2 minutes apart.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay, fine. Well, let's just check you.
Yeah.
So they check me and they're like, oh, wow. Oh, well, it's open.
Yeah.
But you're just a centimeter dilated.
A centimeter. Oh, my God.
That's nothing. You could be that for at least a couple days or even a week. I was like, oh, but it hurts.
Yeah.
So they checked me and so happened I had high blood pressure. My pressure went high. But I think it was because I had all the spicy food.
Yeah.
And I started freaking out because they said I'm 1 centimeter. So I'm assuming that I'm going to have the baby. But they're like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
So they're like, honestly, let's just do some blood work, check you, walk around for a few minutes, and then come back. So they check me. They're like, honestly, just go. We can put you on drugs, but it will slow the process down. Or you could walk around a little bit more. And I said, ma'am, I'm going to my bed.
Yeah.
Okay? So I went home. We went to sleep. And we were there until 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So we go home. I'm like, let me lie down on the couch. I'm like, Joe, go upstairs, get some rest, because I feel in my spirit that this baby's coming. And we'll reconvene in the morning.
Yeah. I love that you were able to sleep. Oh, God, I'm jealous.
So I laid here. I didn't really sleep. Like, you know when you're laying still, but it was rest? So I put a bunch of pillows, and I just sat up, and I laid there.
I'm jealous.
And I'm still getting the pain every
yeah.
2 minutes. So I'm like, okay, I gotta sleep. So they told me I forgot. I think I took like a painkiller.
Oh, okay.
And no. It wasn't a painkiller. They told me to take Gravol.
Oh, yeah.
So I took a Gravol, and it made me a bit drowsy.
Yeah.
So I think I dozed off for maybe an hour, and I woke up, and I'm like, I have to pee so bad.
Yeah.
So I got up, and as I'm getting up, because you know how you get up is a struggle. So I'm waddling up, and as I stand right here, I'm running. I feel like I can't hold my pee.
Oh.
So I start running, and you see how short that this is
a very
to my
short
bathroom.
distance.
By the time I get to the toilet, my water broke.
Oh, wow.
Gosh.
Wow.
I've never seen the toilet bowl full to the brim.
Wow.
And I'm like, what's happening? So I start freaking out, and I didn't even have time to freak out. The contractions, sis, it pulled me into the earth, okay? I was sitting in the core of the earth the way those contractions pulled me down. And while I ran to the bathroom, I dropped my phone.
Oh.
So I'm trying to scream for
Joe.
John,
Yeah.
but no sound is coming out of my mouth. Like, I'm terrified. I'm tearing up now, remembering the pain.
Yeah.
I'm like traumatized.
Yeah.
And I army crawled to the phone, and I call him. I'm so dramatic. I'm like, help me. Help.
He's like, what?
And he comes running down in his underwear. He's like, what? Where? What? What's happening?
He's looking for the baby on the ground. He's like, that's it. My daughter's somewhere here. I gotta find her.
I'm like, call the police.
Not the evidence. Call the police, the fire department, call everybody.
He's like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, call the police.
Oh my
I'm
God.
dying. It was so funny. I had to collect myself, and I realized, okay, I'm just having a baby. Relax.
I
I'm
know,
like,
right?
call the hospital and tell them we're coming back. So I'm like literally rolling on the ground, crying every couple minutes. And then like you see those stairs. Okay, my stairs are like walking up a castle.
I would have I'm like, just push me down.
I just
slid down.
and I just made him drag me down the stairs.
For sure. That's the only way down. Like, I would have been like, that's it. Like, this is like tobogganing.
It was a nightmare. And then I got to the hospital. I'm like screaming down the hallways, and then they check me. I felt so bad because there was a girl there waiting to get induced, and I'm just like, oh. And she's like, ma'am, maybe you should let this lady go. I'm like, it's okay. I'm fine.
Oh my God. No, let me
It was crazy. And they checked me, and I was still only like 2 centimeters.
Wow, with your water broken. Golly, Winter.
And I was stuck at 2 centimeters for a long time. And eventually I'm like, John, this is not, because I wanted to do it natural. I even did all those meditation classes.
Oh, did you?
I was like mentally prepared because I have anxiety all the time. So I was like, listen, if this happens and I don't like not being prepared, and because I don't know what I'm in for labor, I was having so much anxiety about it. So I was like, let me just try to mentally prepare myself for the unexpected.
Yeah.
And I was like, Joe, I don't want to take drugs. I really want to do it natural. I really just want to, go on this ride with my body.
Yeah.
But sis,
Listen.
let me tell you, I took him by the neck. I said, listen, this is not a drill. You better tell them to bring the drugs.
Yeah, grab that anesthesiologist right away.
Luckily, he was standing right outside my door.
Yeah.
And he was able to give me an epidural right away. And I was feeling good.
Yeah.
But Winter still took so long. She was just like not coming. And then they gave me something to speed up the process.
The Pitocin?
Yeah. And
We're waiting. Oxytocin. I can't remember one or the other. But
one of those things. And we're waiting it out. Excuse me. And I was like, okay, I think I'm okay. But then I was asking my nurse, I'm like, is it normal to start to feel your toes? And she's like, yeah, that happens sometimes. I'm like, because I could wiggle them. And then she left me for a while. She's like, it'll be a while. The baby's chilling. And then I'm like, Joe, I kind of feel my knees. I'm like, am I supposed to feel my knees?
Up that dosage.
And then I'm like, okay. I'll wait for the nurse to come back.
Yeah.
So Joe went out to get food for him and my mom because they said we were gonna have probably won't give birth till the next morning. So the nurse comes back and I'm like, ma'am, I think I feel my contractions again.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm talking to my mom and I have to just stop because I can't breathe. And she's like, interesting. So she's like, let me check you. I'm like, can I get more drugs? She's like, actually, I think it's almost time to push. I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
And I start panicking. I'm like, I don't want to feel this though. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to feel it. And I was so annoyed. I was so annoyed because it basically wore off.
Yeah.
Because we waited so long. And then I was just annoyed and sweating and hungry. And my dad comes.
Yeah.
Joe's mom comes. And my best friend comes. And I already told them none of them can come. I can only have 2 people in the room.
Yeah.
So it's just Joe and my mom.
So the rest of them, they're in the waiting area.
They all come and they come in the room.
Oh, how'd that happen?
So the nurse is like, you guys can't be here.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know what? She was really nice. So she's like, you guys can be in here for like 5 minutes and then you have to go. So they all come in and they're trying to wipe my forehead and be like, hey, you're doing great. And I turn to them and I'm like, this is great and everything. But you guys have to get out, okay? Because I have to push this baby right now.
Oh, my gosh.
I felt her coming down and it felt so intense. So they left, and I actually pushed the baby out in like 15 minutes.
Oh, wicked.
But it was hard.
Wow. Yeah, it was.
It was so hard. But like, I don't know. Like, just thinking about it makes me scared. This is why I hate when people ask me, when are you having the next baby?
Oh, gosh.
I'm like, can you let me work through this trauma for a second?
Because if you close your eyes, you can still like...
I could feel it.
Oh, absolutely.
I could feel like my butt getting pulled into.
Oof, girl.
I just remember crying hysterically. The baby was already out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, looking around. And I'm like, it's done. It's done.
Yeah, because it's just so emotional. It's so intense.
But honestly, it was an unreal, explainable moment. Like, it was so amazing.
Yeah, it is. I have mine on video and I've watched it 3 times. And every time I watch it, I bawl. Every time I watch it, I can legitimately sob.
I actually am happy I didn't record it. Like,
really?
John was supposed to, but I think he also panicked because he was holding my hand. And the nurse was holding my feet and my mom was holding my other hand. And they were all like helping me breathe. And push. She was coaching me through it. And she was doing a great job. But then like John was supposed to be recording, but instead he's there like, pushing too.
Oh my God. Pushing and breathing through it, you know?
So he forgot to do all of that. Even like when the baby came out, he's just like standing there looking at me. I'm like, go.
Oh my God.
Take a picture of the baby.
Yeah.
He's like, right.
Oh my
God. But it was like the emotions are so high and it's
everything.
Just like so many, like it's just hard to explain.
There are no words.
There's nothing on earth or in this life that can compare to a moment like that.
No.
And I'm happy I was able to experience it, even though I was never there was never my intention to be a mom, even to be a wife. I was one of those lone rangers where if it happened, it happened. Yeah. If it didn't, whatever. You know, I didn't care. I didn't care. But, you know, to have a family, it's just like a different level of, I don't know.
It's a different level of joy. It's a really beautiful thing. It's hard work, but it's so worthwhile. It's the kind of work, the hard work that's very rewarding. Yeah.
Every day it's rewarding.
Amen. I definitely agree. I had a very different birth story. Similar in some respects, but so different in others. So, I too was like super worried, so anxious about labor that I was like, you know, doing all those, taking classes, watching things online, doing what I could to prepare. And then I had gone through a phase where I was super worried about it, so anxious about it, so scared. And then I got to the point where I'm like, I want this baby out. And it's funny because I didn't even go past my due date. She was delivered. She came the following day. Like, I went into labor on the day that she was supposed to come, and then she arrived the following day.
Oh, nice.
But that was because I had 2 membrane sweeps. Like, I did have 2. And because there was a little bit of concern. So, essentially, Yara's head stopped growing at 37 weeks. So, they were worried. They're like, why? It's 37 weeks, but her head's still 37 weeks. Or, sorry, it's 38 weeks, but she's still 37. 39 weeks, still 37. So, they were worried now, again, about about that. They were concerned because they're like, when we start seeing a smaller head, we start worrying about, complications with the brain.
Yeah.
And the big thing, although it wasn't really prominent last year, it was a source of concern for the years following, was Zika, right? So there was like lots of like just concern about that.
Yeah.
And crazily enough, they projected those concerns onto
Yeah.
me. So imagine me like just,
You don't want to hear that.
no, I don't want to hear that. So it was like 2 days before my due date. My midwife calls me and she's like, yeah, you know what?
Oh my God.
I spoke to the head OBGYN at Markham
Yeah.
Civil Hospital, and she thinks it's best that we take Yara. If we're gonna take the baby out if she doesn't come on her due date. We're not gonna let you go beyond that because there is a lot of concern associated with her size, and she was also quite tiny too. My stomach was small. I mean, we were just trying to appease ourselves. One, we're God-fearing people, so we were praying about it, and two, Leon and I both have small ass heads, so we got small heads, right?
Yeah.
So we're like genetically we have small heads, so we're not too concerned that her head is
Yeah.
small. But again, when you're hearing different things and all that different stuff, you start to get a little bit worried. Anyway. So the day that Yara actually arrived, I had a membrane sweep, and one of my girlfriends had a membrane sweep and mentioned that like after hers, she went into labor. I was like, oh, I wonder if the same thing will happen to me. 3 hours after my membrane sweep, I'm at home watching Suits. Leon's downstairs with his friend, and I'm just like chilling. Go to use the restroom. Mucus plug. More of my plug. I'd seen a little bit of it a couple days prior, but like a lot. A bunch came out. So I actually messaged Sam, and I was like, I'm like, so I just lost a lot of my mucus plug. And she's like, oh, yay, maybe the baby's coming. And I'm like, okay. So I just go back to the couch and, chill out. And all of a sudden, I start feeling this like shooting pain in my back.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what the heck is that? Because I'm preparing for like abdominal labor, right? I'm preparing for the contractions up front. So like, I'd studied different things. I was like, okay, similar to a very intense menstrual cramp. So I'm going to get into like, like a cradling position. Like I already like had my tips, my tricks, my plan. I had no idea what this was. I'm like, but it was intense. And then like, 10 minutes would go by. And then again, this like seizing of my back. It wasn't even like a shooting pain. It's like my whole back is tightened. I'm like, yo, what is that? So I'm like, Lord, please don't tell me this is what I think it is. I'm like, do not tell me I'm having back labor. Don't tell me this. Because back labor, from what I've read, is the most intense labor. And I'm like, this is not fun. I don't want this.
Oh, no.
So I remember hearing, if you've got back labor, get on all fours and like sway back and forth and try and get the baby to reposition, because what it means is that her head might be down, but her back is to your side as opposed to the front. So I'm like, oh no, I'm wiggling this baby. So I'm trying to shake her. And like I'm on all fours and I'm watching Suits, and like every 10, 12 minutes or so, like my whole back tightens up. Leon's in the basement and I was just like, Leon! I remember calling him and he runs up the stairs. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, something's happening. Something very real is happening right now. This guy,
Oh my God.
Nah, you're not in labor. I'm like, what? I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, okay, like whatever. So he goes back down, chilling with his friend or whatever. He's like, just, take a break. Like, I'll make you some tea if you want it, but I think you're fine.
Tea.
Typical Jamaican. I'll make you some tea. You get a headache, stomach ache, eye pain, shoulder, elbow, tea, including labor tea. I'm like, what? So, but then now, so I'm there, and I'm like, I don't care what he says. I'm gonna start to like, clock the time. So I'm like, just keeping track of the time between the contractions. And yeah, it's sporadic. It's like 7 minutes, and then 12 minutes, and then 8 minutes, and then 10 minutes. But the fact that it's reoccurring is an indication to me that something is happening. And earlier when I went for the membrane sweep, I was completely effaced and 2 centimeters dilated then. Oh. So I was like, okay, if I'm already 2 centimeters dilated and I'm experiencing pain, I'm going into labor.
Yeah.
So the pain starts to get so intense now, I'm like standing up. So I'm standing up and walking around, because walking around is the only thing that's helping. Tell Leon, I'm like, come upstairs and call the midwife, because like this pain is real. So he comes up, he calls, and she's asking how far apart they are. And then in the midst of like him talking to her, I like one like hits me, and it's so intense. I burst into tears because I just don't expect it, and I don't know what to do because I didn't prepare for back pain. Like I don't even know how to like mentally I can't process it. So he's like, okay, we're going to come to the hospital. I know that we're going to the hospital and I'm going to be turned away, but I need the reassurance that I am actually going into labor. So Markham Silva Hospital is seconds away from my mom's place. We load up the car, we go get my mom, we go to the hospital. She checks me, you're 2.5 centimeters dilated. Like, you're likely gonna have this baby today, but you're not having this baby right now. So your options are gravel.
It's the worst thing you can hear.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
This is the end of my life.
Thank you.
And they're like, it's nothing.
Right? So she's like, I can give you a gravel shot, I can give you gravel like pills, or I can give you saline. I think she was gonna put in my spine.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And I'm like, I don't want anything in my spine. I'm saving that for the epidural, so we good. Go home, and I'm hoping the gravel is gonna make me sleep, because that's typically like when I'm flying and I want to fall asleep, I say gravel. No. Back labor, there's no sleeping during back labor because you can't lie down, you can't sit. The only thing that feels good is walking. And what's more, my pain was so intense. The only thing that felt good was having my back like profusely and aggressively punched. And it was like, so that was it. I went home at like, what time was that? That was 10, my mom's place. And Leon's aggressively punching my back until like 3:30, 4 a.m. And I'm like, Kate, we have to go back now because the pain is so intense. Like, I can't take it. We go back to Markham Silva Hospital. She's like, I'm sorry, you're only 4. And I'm like,
my God.
Please, please, please. And she's like, no. And I guess at the midwifery side, like, they don't mind giving you like whatever, treatment that you need to help you through your labor, but they don't want to stagnate the labor. So she's like, I'm not going to admit you, nor am I going to give you the option for an epidural now. You got to go home and labor some more.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. At this point, I'm like damn near in tears. But anyways, we go home at 4 and I'm like, again, I can't sleep. I want to sleep. I'm exhausted. My mom's exhausted. Leon's hands are like basically bruised. My mom's hands are bruised. Everyone's just like dying, really.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, all I'm doing is walking around. I'm just walking up the stairs, down the stairs, here, there, everywhere. She's a townhouse. So it's like all the way up the stairs, all the way down the stairs. And everyone has to punch my back along the way. So much pain. I'm in so much pain. I can't even scream. It's just that every time the contraction hits, I'm like,
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That's it. That's all that's happening. Just like deep breathing and like just intense pain. I'm sure there's pain happening in my abdomen because obviously my uterus is contracting, but who can feel that when like your entire back is seizing up?
Yeah.
So finally at 7:30, I'm like, I cannot. Like at this point, almost every single time I have a contraction, I fall to my knees.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're done. This is
Yeah.
it. I don't care.
That is the moment.
That's it. I'm like, this has to be it because it can't, like, the pain can't be any worse. And at this point, Leon's getting angry. Leon's like, if they don't admit you, he's like, I swear to God, I'm gonna lose my shit in there.
Oh, it's gonna be a John Q.
Listen,
moment.
hello, right? That's a straight John Q. We get there, and it's a Trinidadian nurse. I don't know what that was.
What the?
Is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
That was weird. It was a Trinidadian nurse, and she's like, yeah, she's like, so she checks me, and she's like, you're about 5. She's like, you need to walk around and look a bit more. I'm like, I can't walk around anymore. I'm like, gonna die at this point. But I agree to walk around for another hour. The longest hour of my freaking life. Leon and I are walking up and down. And at this point, we're both delirious. Every single time I get a contraction, I'm falling to the ground and Leon's holding me up. We're also exhausted and sleep deprived. So Leon, I'm walking and closing my eyes. Leon's just like behind me and hopefully guiding me. At one point, we both walk into the wall. It was just a nightmare. It was such a nightmare. But anyways, finally, I go upstairs and I'm like, now I'm making noise because it's like, I can't. Like now I can't not verbalize the intensity of the pain. She's like, okay, don't worry. I'll admit you now. She doesn't even bother checking me because she knows that the pain is so extreme based on the way that I'm behaving.
Yeah.
It's time. So we get in. And then my midwife is there, super cheery. Good morning.
It's not the time, ma'am.
Oh, you look great. How's it going?
This is not the time.
Epidural. Give me an epidural. Give me that, like, right then and there. Like, give me the epidural. She's like, okay, let me see the other anesthesiologist says. Anyways, she leaves. I also was it GBS positive or whatever? So I needed an IV.
So was I.
Yeah, so I needed the antibiotics. So she comes with the antibiotics. And then, again, I'm just like trying to like just cope. So in the midst of me trying to like cope, I start looking at the codes that are on the wall and I see disco and all these different things. And I'm just reading them because I'm just trying to pass time. So she comes, gives me the antibiotic. Thank God the anesthesiologist is in the midwifery ward because they typically aren't because a lot of people that use midwifery go natural.
Yeah.
So anyways, she's like, yes, I want him. Like, she's like, well, you have to become like naked. And I strip down to nothing. I literally don't even bother putting the robe on. I'm like butt naked, bent over. Like, put in the needle, juke my back. Like I'm in so much pain. Anyways, he comes, does his thing, and I'm like, praise God. Like moments later, I just feel like a different human being.
You can
My
breathe.
mom, thank you. My mom shows up and she's like, "Oh, Leanne had the epidural," because my mood has changed like tremendously. Anyway, so now we're like, it's fun. Leon's napping, my mom's there, and we're just going through the process. Well, I should say, like, as soon as the epidural is in, she checks me and I'm 8.5 centimeters dilated.
Oh,
So
shit.
that's when I know. I'm like, the pain was too intense. I knew something real was happening. Like, I knew that I was close to delivering. But then I end up taking the epidural, which unfortunately ends up like slowing it down.
Yeah.
So she gives me Pitocin because she's like, you've already had the epidural. Like the contractions will get more intense, but you won't feel it because you have the epidural. The cool thing about the epidural is although I had it, and of course it's numbing, it wasn't like demobilizing. So I could still move my legs, which was super cool because I was excited about being able to get into different positions. Anyway, time to push. Leon had intended to be by my shoulders, supporting me there. The midwife was like, you are holding a leg. You're in this. So, like, Leon holds the leg, and he's in it. My mom is, like, singing church hymns, walking around.
Oh, Lord.
And my cousin, bless her soul, is holding my other leg. And that's how, I don't know how Kyla held the leg and recorded at the same time, but she did. And
she was in there.
She was in there. We have it all. We have it all.
Oh, my God.
We have all the video footage, friends. All of the footage.
I'm happy. I did not want to see that.
You know what, to be honest, you think you don't. Because I thought for sure, I'm like, ew, why would I want to see that? No way. Because, like, I had yet to watch a labor with everyone who gives birth. Most people who give birth anyway watch labor videos. I did not. I refused. I wanted to see people. I wanted to see people labor, and I wanted to see them after, like what it was like after the baby was born. But I refused to watch the actual delivery process.
I've only seen it twice in my life, and it was two of my friends.
No, thank you.
And one was because I was in the room with her, and some nurses had to leave, and they needed people to hold her legs.
Yeah,
but she knew that I was not about that life. And she started dying of laughter because she's like, are you sure you want to put her down there? And I'm like, it's fine. We got to get this done.
Oh,
but
my gosh.
Boy, did I need some help after.
Oh, my God.
I was shook.
Listen, I can't imagine. That's how I felt. Everyone's like, you're going to have to do it anyway. So what difference does it make if you watch it? I'm like, still, I cannot watch it.
There's a difference, sis.
There is a difference. So anyways, Leon's down there and he's just like committing. Well, before he even starts doing push-ups, which I thought was hilarious. He was doing push-ups and like pull-ups and stuff. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. But anyways, he's doing his thing, right? So I start pushing, and then when I start pushing, every time I push and I release from a contraction, the midwife looks at the heart monitor, and that was freaking me out.
Oh my God, what?
She's like, because her face is looking like
concerned. That's scary.
Yeah, and the cool thing about like midwives is that like your appointments are longer, and you really start to develop a rapport with the people who are going to be supporting you through your labor. So I knew what it looked like when she was nervous, because it was the same look that she had when she looked at when she measured my stomach and realized that the baby wasn't growing.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, something is wrong. So I asked her, what's wrong? And she's like, nothing, everything's fine. Just like sometimes when you stop, the baby's heart rate drops a little bit. And I'm like, okay. So whatever. So anyways, so then there was another part where I was pushing. And then she was like, wait, stop.
Stop.
And she like tells me to stop. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, why is she telling me to stop? And she's like, okay, everyone, let's just relax. Let's just relax for a little bit. And I'm like,
you're making me nervous.
Listen to me. I'm like, Lord. And right then and there, I prayed this prayer. I'm like, I came here with a baby. I am leaving with one. I am leaving with my child. Like, do not freak me out. So then she asks me to push again. But before she asks me to push, she raises her little walkie to her, or like a little microphone to her lips. And she says, calling disco. And it was funny because remember when I was like waiting for the anesthesiologist, I was reading the codes on the wall, and I saw that disco was pediatric resuscitation.
Stop.
And I was like, oh my God, this baby isn't going to be breathing when she comes out. And she was like, so Leanne, we're just going to try and push. I'm like, so at this point, I'm like, I need to change positions. Because I'm like, I can squat this baby out. If this baby's not coming, let me squat. I can't feel my legs, but I can use them. Yeah. Please let me squat this baby. She's like, Leanne, we're just going to wait. She's like, because I don't want you to because you can see now I'm visibly getting worried.
Yeah.
And she's like, just give it one more try in this position, and then we'll try something else. So now Leon's looking worried too. Everyone looks worried. Like, and no one's trying to, of course, alarm me.
Yeah.
But it's visible on my mom's face, on Kyla's face. Everyone is like, okay, something's not right. Listen, I don't know how I did it, But I kid you not, one push and I pushed that whole
like,
baby out. I kid you not. Like she was like, when I found, I'm like, I just couldn't. All I thought to myself was like, this baby is in there and she's distressed. There is no way. So she was like, I need you to push.
Bear.
And I like, with every single thing in me, with all of the fight, I pushed her out like head, shoulders, knees, toes, one shot. Everyone was like, whoa. Like it was crazy. And like I was like sobbing hysterically because she came on and she was screaming her head off.
Oh, thank
My
God.
mom was crying, but everybody was crying. It was just like, and I was happy because they still had the resuscitation team was in the room. Everyone looked at her right away to make sure. Well, they put her on top of me, which made me feel good because she was screaming and moving, so I was okay. And then they just went with Leon and they took a look at her and she was fine. But that was the scariest moment of my life. The scariest moment of my entire life.
It's the worst when you get that news in a moment like that.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what to think and you don't have time to process.
Exactly.
And there's so much going on.
Yeah.
That you don't even have time to freak out.
Oh,
But
for
you
sure.
know you're scared.
Oh, unbelievable. And especially because I had been through so much. Already they were like, she's small, she's this, she's that. So there's so many concerns. So I'm like, she's small. And at one point she had a irregular heartbeat. So I'm like, what's wrong? Like, you know, if her brain's not developing, because that's why her head's like, I'm like, so is that why she can't handle like oh my God, a number of things.
Yeah, that's
so
stressful.
pushing her out, seeing that she was okay. I did see that her head was kind of pointed shape, but I think it was because she was in the birth canal earlier. Like she was sitting low for a long time. But girl, let me tell you something. Scary, painful, and then scary, and then beautiful. So
this is why I don't need people to ask me, when am I having another baby? Do you hear how traumatic this shit is?
It's like it's next level. It is.
I mean, it's a
level.
blessing.
Absolutely.
Thank God they came out. They're healthy. They're doing well. They're developed. Like God is good. But sis, don't ask me that. Okay. Let me process this. Let them become a badass kid for a second before I'm like, you know what I need.
Let the stitches heal. Let that happen because I feel like, listen, things were crazy because of like how like aggressively I pushed her out. Oh girl, like there was like my whole lower body, like 7 stitches, like 4 of them were internal. I had like ginormous, like literally like navel orange size hemorrhoids. They were awful. They was awful. I thought like it was crazy. Like it was so. But my mom said when she describes it, she was like, there was something fleshy just like flailing in the wind. I don't know what it was. She was like, but the fan in the room was blowing something fleshy. And
I could hear your mom saying that. Like after meeting her, I'm like, oh,
right? That's it. So she was like, oh my gosh, like it was crazy. So yes, like I'm so grateful for Yara, of course, and like what an incredible blessing she is.
This shit ain't for the weak of heart.
We good for now. Like we good. Like for now, we are totally okay because that story was
that sounds intense.
Hectic.
That is intense.
Hectic. It
Kudos
was
for you. Kudos
and it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't what I expected. But I mean, I feel like the birth episode is an episode in and of itself. I feel like this is. I don't know if we can do.
Yeah, I think we're going to switch it up. And today is about birth.
Yeah, solely about birth.
Because no matter what, and between the both of us, I'm sure we've watched 14,000 hours of preparation videos.
Oh, yeah.
Wellness videos.
Yeah.
Mental preparedness videos. Birthing videos. Stress relieving videos. Birth yoga. You know, pregnancy yoga. I got my pregnancy yoga on. I got my pregnancy massage.
Oh, same. Chiropractor, everything.
Yo, I was meditating like nobody's business. But sis, when you're sitting on a table with your legs wide open.
Hello.
And you got no choice, like your butt is exploding.
Listen, and that's it. And it was funny because the thing is, in the beginning, I was trying to be dainty and I don't know why. So she was like, push. And I'm like, who? But no, I don't understand what I was trying to do. And then
I kept trying to ask if I was pooing.
Yeah. I was surprised I did that.
Did I poo?
Oh my God. But then when like I wanted her to come out, like legitimately screaming. Like it's like, yeah.
It's like crazy. Foghorn push. Like you were like,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Pushing with everything.
I was so annoyed actually because there was one thing that annoyed me is they did a membrane sweep. And then also while I was in labor, the nurses, they keep checking your cervix.
Yeah.
They kept, every time a new nurse came in, they were like, ooh, your baby has hair.
Oh, yeah.
Sis,
Right?
your baby has hair. And then I'm pushing her out, and they're like, you want to feel her hair?
No, I don't.
She's not out yet. It's just her head.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I do not.
Right?
Can we focus on the pushing, please,
Thank you.
people?
That's it.
I'm so annoyed.
I know.
Like, I do not want to have a conversation with
About
you.
how much hair.
Well, your forearm is all the way up my
no,
pokey.
stop
ma'am.
it. Cut it out. Get out of there. Get out.
Anyways, this is a lot.
It was a lot. But you know what? I'm excited and I'm hoping to hear more birth stories. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear what were your birth stories? Tell us whether or not you had similar experiences. For all my ladies who have back labor, let's join in solidarity, please. Please send me a message and let me know that I wasn't the only one who experienced that excruciating back seizure. I'd like to know what your back labor pains were like because mine they're
Also,
unimaginable.
This is a disclaimer. For the women that have not had children yet, we're not bashing pregnancy or labor. We're just saying it's hard.
It is.
Okay.
Which I think every woman, all women have come to terms with.
And keep in mind, even though it is hard, the moment you become pregnant, you become a mom.
This is true.
And when you become a mom, at that moment, you will do whatever it takes. Every single time.
You're invested. You're all in.
Every single time. So it doesn't matter if, she's doing somersaults in your coochie.
Yeah.
She is swimming in your canal.
And that'll happen. All the above.
You will do whatever it takes to be with that baby.
That's it. Whether it's a vaginal delivery, a cesarean, you will do whatever. Cut me open 6 ways from Sunday. Like, we got to get this baby out. So, I mean, like I said, shout out to those who have had children. Shout out to those who want children. Shout out to those who
are planning.
And,
it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
This is not bashing.
Exactly.
This is not a bashing episode. I promise you. This is just us sharing each other's experiences and, reliving that moment.
And you know what? The other thing I do want to say too is because in the midst of it all, one of the things that I kept trying to remind myself, especially when the pain really hit, was the fact that despite how painful and just excruciating it was, is that it really is a blessing because there's so many women who would kill to be in the position that we were in,
100%.
who would love to be able to have children on their own and who are, for whatever reason, are unable to do so. And I feel like, keeping those women in mind was really comforting for me. So also a shout out to all of those moms as well who, really want to be moms and are doing what it takes and are maybe through unconventional means are having children. But we stand in solidarity with you too.
100%.
All right, y'all.
No matter how you get it.
Get it how you get it.
Get it how you get it. For sure. Yeah, I don't know. We were supposed to talk about family planning.
We will.
But we got there at the end.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to backtrack to the beginning. If you want to talk about it, or do you want to skip it till another time?
I say we skip it to another time because I feel like there's so much to be said about it. And I feel like I said, the labor episode it's so elaborate. And I really want to get feedbacks. I want to hear info just about labor. I'm just interested to hear
your funny stories.
Yeah.
I love funny stories. I feel like my story was funny because I think no matter how much I prepared for labor and thinking I'm a planner, I'm a very type A person. I need to know what's happening step by step. I have steps for everything. I'm a lister, I love lists. I need to know what's happening. And the fact that I have no idea what to expect for pregnancy and labor, it drove me nuts. So I think that's why this experience was so funny to me. And also it changed me as a person because not only did labor didn't go the way I expected, even after the baby came with breastfeeding, there was so many complications, and then I had high blood pressure and I was in and out of the hospital for so long after the baby. So many unexpected things happened that I now had to come to terms with the fact that you just have to let life happen.
Oh, for sure.
I wasn't that kind of person.
Yeah, me neither.
At all. But now, it's opened up a whole new world. I'm doing a podcast. A person that does not like to speak to other human beings
Right?
in person. Okay. I am the most awkward person in real life. And I'm sure if people have seen me on the road, I know a lot of people have seen me on the road and be like, hey, Chanel, it's just Chanel. Yay, what's up? And I'd be like, hello.
And off.
Silence. Great to see you. Have a great evening, man.
Oh my God, awkward.
I'm just an awkward person. I'm such an introvert, but this has changed me a lot. I'm happier. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I don't want to say happy because I'm happy a lot. I have joy.
Amen.
And there's a difference in happiness and joy.
Yeah.
Joy that's something that's very difficult to take away from a person because it's from within.
Yeah.
Happiness is situational. There's circumstance.
Okay.
I'm happy today because I got McDonald's.
Yeah.
I'm happy today because it's not raining and my hair's done. Okay, but joy is something that can it can keep you grounded.
Yeah.
In a world that is wavering.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm happy for this experience. So ladies, let's talk about
how
labor.
It's changed you.
Let's talk about how this experience has changed you. So talk to us. Let's talk about it. And then we'll share. Send us some voice notes.
Oh, I love the voice notes. I can't wait because I think
send
they're
us
so
some
rich.
Tweets.
The tweets are good too, but I want to hear it all. I want to hear all of the changes because it's like you said, like I labor, motherhood. I think for me, the biggest thing was that from the beginning, from the moment that I found out that I was pregnant, because I also suffer from anxiety, I said to God, I'm giving this pregnancy to God. And I meant it when I said it. And I had family and friends to continually remind me along the way when I got a diagnosis or when there was a speculation or when there was a concern or there was a fear or there was go for this test or do this ultrasound or do this or do that. I kept saying, but this pregnancy isn't mine, it's God's. And I had to remind myself even in the midst of the delivery, like this pregnancy is not mine, this is God's. So I think that's huge. What's been big for me is legitimately letting go and letting God. Like I've always said that, but I've never in my life been forced to model it more so than throughout my pregnancy and now motherhood. Right. So yeah, for me, the biggest change for sure has been spiritual. Absolutely. I feel like I've never like just entrusted God with my life more than I have. Since having a child. So yeah, for me, that's been a huge change. So I'm excited. I can't wait to hear how you guys have changed and like what's been the biggest notable change in your life, your behavior, your attitude, your perspective. Right. Because it'll happen. Listen, they'll do it to you.
It's inevitable.
They'll do it.
There's no other way around it. You're going to change.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to change. And I'm not saying it will make you a better person.
It should.
You will some people, well,
motherhood makes it salty.
Yeah.
Motherhood makes it butter. Motherhood don't look good on you.
Something will change.
Oh gosh.
But before we leave on a note, like I feel like we share our personal experiences. I'm realizing now because we weren't really sure the direction and like what's the core of this podcast. But I feel like a lot of this is going to be personal experiences and stories and how we can relate with other people. Yeah. So I'm going I want to give these pointers. I think we should give pointers at the end of our podcast, or maybe not at the end, but like share some notes so people can utilize. So I think it's really important when people are preparing for pregnancy to keep in mind that having a support system, amen, is paramount.
It takes a village, y'all. And the village doesn't you don't start to compile or create your village once a child arrives. No, you create that village and you set that foundation from the minute you find out that you're pregnant, because you'll need it then.
And even if you don't have family, trust me, you will find a support system. I am a person that my friends are used to me being like, I'm a great person to be around, but I need my time alone. And a lot of my friends have had children already, or my friends are single and don't have children. So I was kind of in between and I didn't have friends that I can relate to at this moment. Yeah. So I had to go outside of myself and give up being an introvert. Yeah. And literally stop people on the street and say, hey, you're a mom, you're pregnant. Can I have your number?
Wow, good for you.
And I've met a lot of cool people. Yeah. And you don't need to, look to your cousins or your friends, because sometimes they just don't relate sometimes you guys aren't in the same place in your life.
Yeah.
But there are places to find support. I literally went on Facebook.
I was about to say, shout out to the Whitby Moms group, because listen, like, there is a mom, I don't remember who was her, like, who specifically within the group was the one who wrote the post, but there was like a Whitby, I think it was a Durham Moms group, and the mom wrote that she's like, listen, I have a 6-month-old daughter. I go for walks all the time. I'm tired of going alone. Is there anyone that wants to go for walks? And it was like the floodgates open. A bunch of us were like, yes, we'd love to. And we're all like, just like, expressing our interest. We created a small Durham Moms, like, I think it's called Durham Moms Walk. I don't know, Durham Moms something. Anyway, or Whitby Moms something. Anyhow, and it's like a messenger group, and constantly in there, I thought primarily that like it would just be like, okay, are we meeting up on Friday? Because we normally meet every Fridays and we go for walks by like the Whitby Pier or whatever. But no, it's been so much more than that. It's been so much more like, my daughter has a rash. My daughter has this. My son's going through this. Has anyone experienced this? I'm looking for a babysitter. My mother-in-law said this. My cousin said, like, it's been like such a supportive group.
Yeah.
And some of those mommy groups can be really, really like antagonistic. They can be very mommy mafia. That's it.
That's a whole other episode.
Oh yeah.
Okay? So don't worry about that.
Super judgy. But this group, oh my gosh, like, what an incredible group of women who truly like are, mean it when they say that they're here to support one another. So like, even if you have to create like a village of that kind, like, still so valuable. So I would highly encourage moms, like, to look for mommy groups within your respective communities and see how you can get involved. Because like I said, I've met incredible women in that group. Absolutely. And I'm so grateful for them. So Whitby Moms, shout out.
Shout out.
That's my mom, my mommy magic. What do we call it? Mommy magic, mommy
Your
mama?
magic mama.
My magic mama. I'm going to shout out all the Whitby moms as my magic mamas. They are awesome.
Yeah, that's right, folks. We're from Durham region.
That's it. East side.
We gave it away.
I know, the east side. That's it. Location.
From
my location.
The east side.
I just dropped a pin in my location.
You better talk to us nice.
Right? Talk to me nice.
Yeah, so I think that's a wrap for today.
That's it.
I think we've chatted enough.
We've chatted enough.
And nap time is over.
It's up. Nap time is up, friends. The babies have awoken.
So we will see you guys next week.
All right, y'all.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Acast powers some of the world's best podcasts. Here's a show we recommend.
Hey everybody, I'm Jen.
I'm Jess.
And we're Fat Mascara, the only beauty podcast you need in your life.
We're beauty editors by day and podcasters by night.
And we've got all the industry gossip for you.
Like insider product reviews and advice you're not going to find online.
And the best part is interviews with the most sought after experts in the beauty biz.
Charlotte Tilbury.
Jen Atkin.
And makeup artist Sir John.
That's just a taste of what you're going to get on the Fat Mascara podcast.
So come hang with us.
New episodes drop every Tuesday and Thursday.
Acast recommends.